welcome everyone, and thank you guys for your patience. If you're tuning in live, if you're tuning into the replay, welcome. I was having quite the time getting my Wi-Fi here. I'm back at the spot out in the farm, so I don't have a picturesque view for you guys right now, but got a bookshelf for you. You can browse through all the different books there. But welcome everyone. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. I want to share with you guys a passage from a book that I've been reading, and to go along with that, a exercise that you can do both writing and also through our brief meditation through the breath work. So it'll be a nice short one today. But hey, Sherry, good to see everybody hopping on here. Yeah, let me know where you guys are tuning in from, and also how your week has been. I want to hear how everybody is doing, how your hearts are right now. Always love to hear that. So I was working today at the health food store, and one of the practices that I love is genuinely asking people like how they're doing. And another thing is like when people ask me how I'm doing, is letting them know genuinely like how I'm doing. And one of my favorite things is really just bringing that back into the world, that curiosity about one another. And I think we can all, use a little bit more of that these days. That's awesome. We got Florida, Beverly. It's awesome. Joan, Colorado. We got Illinois. And that's awesome, Sherry. Very good and grateful. Love that. I love hearing that. And Barbara, awesome, from New York. Okay. I love that. Well, Trudy, Pennsylvania. Amazing. And Elaine from New Jersey. Got people from everywhere. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm in Alberta right now. We've had some beautiful days as of late. Today's been a little bit more of an overcast day, but I'm very excited to get out into the mountains. Tomorrow I'm going to go on a spring water adventure to go get some spring water. So it's time to get out a little bit more. And this summer, one of the things that I really want to hone in on is learning a lot more bushcraft skills, and also spending time in nature. For me, even reading a lot more of my Bible and hearing about all the things that happened in the wilderness. There's a lot to be said about that, and just creating that communication channel for hearing God's voice as well. And I don't know how many of you have heard of the author John Eldredge, but he is definitely one of my favorite authors. I don't have one of his books lying around, but absolutely love it. And how's my connection, guys? I've been trying to get a smooth connection out here. We don't have a consistent internet provider out here right now, but if I have to, I'll hop on the hotspot for my phone. So at any time, just let me know if it's a little too wobbly. So, but I want to start off today with a reading from an author, David White. And next time, maybe I'll share some from John Eldredge, who I love. He blends a lot of Christianity and also wilderness teachings, and bringing back that wildness, and really honoring the masculine side of Jesus as well. And yeah, it resonates with my soul, and would love to share that with you guys for next talk there. But the one that I have today is from a book called Consolations by David White. And I'll be sharing some of my writings here real soon as well. I gotta dig up some of my old books, and who knows, maybe I'll be inspired this week to do some writing as well. But this one is called Courage by David White. And in this book, he does a lot of um, unveiling and describing our everyday words and the underlying story behind them. So the word for today, which is very fitting with some of the stuff, if you didn't catch the live last week, was very much about stepping through that threshold and having the courage to live that unlived life, or that life that we would dare to dream. So I wanted to tie in that theme from last week, as a collective, we continuously progress towards those things in our life that we want to bring to fruition. So without further ado, this one's called Courage. Courage is a word that tempts us to think outwardly, to run bravely against opposing fire, to do something under besieging circumstance, and perhaps above all, to be seen to do it in public, to show courage, to be celebrated in story, rewarded with medals, given the accolade. But a look at its linguistic origins is to look in a more interior direction and toward its original template. The old Norman French. Courage is the measure of our heartfelt participation with life, with another, with a community, a work, a future. To be courageous is not necessarily to go anywhere or do anything except to make conscious those things we already feel deeply, and then to live through the unending vulnerabilities of those consequences. To be courageous is to seat our feelings deeply in the body and in the world, to live up to and into the necessities of relationships that often already exist, with things we find we already care deeply about, with a person, a future, a possibility in a society, or with an unknown that begs us on and always has begged us on. To be courageous is to stay close to the way we are made. And courage is what love looks like when tested by the simple everyday necessities of being alive. The French philosopher Camus used to tell himself quietly to live to the point of tears, not as a call for maudlin sentimentality, but as an invitation to the deep privilege of belonging and the way belonging affects us, shapes us, and breaks our heart at a fundamental level. It is a fundamental dynamic of human incarnation to be moved by what we feel, as if surprised by the actuality and privilege of love and affection and its possible loss. Courage is what love looks like when tested by the simple, everyday necessities of being alive. And how many of you have felt tested lately? Well, in your life, can you think of those moments? And continuing, we become courageous whenever we live closely to the point of tears, with any new possibility made known inside us. Whenever we demonstrate a faith in the interior enunciations and align ourselves with the new and surprising and heartfelt necessities of even the average existence. To allow ourselves to feel deeply and thoroughly what has already come into being is to change our future, simply by living up to the consequence of knowing what we hold in our affections. On the inside, we come to know who and what and how we love, and what we can do to deepen that love. Only from the outside, and only by looking back, does it look like courage? From the inside, it can feel like confusion. Only slowly do we learn what we really care about and allow our outer life to be realigned in that gravitational pull. With maturity, that robust vulnerability comes to feel like the only necessary way forward. The only real invitation and the surest, safest ground from which to step. On the inside, we come to know who and what and how we love and what we can do to deepen that love. Only from the outside and only by looking back does it look like courage. It's awesome. So that was a bit of a longer read for y'all, but feel free to share down below in the chat, any passage or word that stood out for you. One thing that I love to do as a creative advocate is to make sense of the world around us together. So throw out those words down there or those passages that really stand out for you, and feel free to give meaning to courage yourself as well. I'd love to hear what courage is to you. So share it in the chat there, what courage is to you. And I mean, last week we also talked about, all it takes is 12 seconds, 10 seconds of courage to change your life. And, if you tuned in on the previous live last week, I would also love to hear what that moment was for you during last week. That was your moment of 10 seconds of courage. And if you don't have a moment, share below what it could have been, where you could have acted with, a short little bolt of courage that might have changed your life. Awesome, Sherry. Courage is standing up for what you believe in and to do something you never have done before. I love that. Absolutely. Yes. I love that. Yeah. And feel free to, share moments of courage throughout your life as well. Anytime that I'm on these lives or, I'm in in-person events, I always want to hear everybody's story, because anytime that we interact, we're constantly creating a mosaic of stories, and our stories together make a beautiful mosaic. So, would love to hear people's stories here. It's awesome. And Elaine says, courage is a belief that you are being guided by hope, faith, and a support system standing behind you. Absolutely. And I love that. Barbara says, courage to me is taking a step into an unknown with faith. Absolutely. I love those. Yes. And, given the theme from last week of that courage, during this meditation, we're going to do some breath work here shortly, 2 different rounds. And, for some of those rounds and those contemplation times, just bring to mind, bring to heart those moments of courage that you've had over your life, and realize that it's something that you can tap into at any time. And, for me, some moments of courage that's coming to mind for me is when I used to work at Hollister, this clothing store in the mall. And during this time when I was working there, it was a period where I was going through a lot of social anxiety and didn't feel very comfortable in my body. Didn't feel very comfortable, going and talking with people. And I had a moment, working as a manager there. We had to go and recruit people in the mall, and we'd have to go up and talk to them. And I'm very grateful for the manager that was training me. Should be very encouraging of pushing me forward to go and do those things. But it was something that definitely took me out of my comfort zone, and has led to a lot of awesome conversations and meetings with other people in my life. But like that sharing from David White, where he talks about how you can't make sense of that courage until you begin to look back at it sometimes. So looking back on that experience for me of, putting myself out there and going and talking with people, that was huge for me at the time. And it's led me to here, being on screen here with you guys, and, actually having the courage to show up, because, probably 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, this would have been quite difficult for me. I'm sure I would have been sweating buckets and, who knows what, maybe hiding. But courage was one of those things that I find you can build up over time. But when you're confronted with unfamiliar situations, of course, you have to flex that muscle sometimes. So, but I want to get into the breath work here with you guys. And then, do some reflecting on courage for all of us over this time. So, and thank you, Sherry. Yes. So let's start with some of the breath work for today. So if this is your first time tuning in for the breath work, we're going to do 2 different rounds, and the pattern for this breathing is 100% in and then just letting it fall out. And we're going to do 30 of those breaths. And then we're going to do an inhale retention at the end of those 30 breaths. And after we release that inhale retention, then we're going to ease into either coherent breathing, which is 5 seconds in through the nose and 5 seconds out through the nose. And if you feel like you need a little bit more relaxation today, just take your time with the breath work. But if you feel like you could use a little bit more activation, follow along for, the full activation breathing there. So it'll look and sound like this for the first 30 breaths. And then we do the inhale retention, holding breaths, and then you let it fall out. And then I like to do the coherent breathing. So in and then out for 5 seconds. And we continue on that for a while. And then we're going to do another round like that. So find a comfortable position, either lying down. If breath work is something that you feel you get a little bit dizzy, or you feel like really tingly sometimes, and you need to feel that stabilization. Otherwise, you can be seated with your feet on the ground. And I'll give you guys some time to get into a nice comfortable position. And you can follow along with my breaths, or you can find your own rhythm that works for you. You're your own breath master. So go at your own pace there. Awesome. And as you settle into your space, closing your eyes, and for these first few breaths, putting a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. And for this breathing, we want to feel the full expansion on every breath. So let's begin with the breathing. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Fully in. Three more breaths. 2. And now fully in. And now fully out. And now we're going to do a full inhale and hold. Just holding the breath here for as long as it feels comfortable. Feeling that energy that you just built up. And whenever you need to release the breath, you can release. And even if you're just joining us right now, or you're tuning in, you can join us with this coherent breathing. Breathing in 5 seconds through the nose and exhaling 5 seconds through the nose. And if you are really going for that relaxed state, you can breathe in for 4 seconds and release for 8 seconds. With the hand on your heart, coherent breathing. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continuing on with that rhythm. the air coming in through your nostrils and releasing it. And just tuning into the heart space. Just join me in consecrating this meeting today and offering the fruits of this live here, of this meeting between people and beautiful souls. I pray that whatever thoughts emerge, whatever knowledge is gleaned, whatever creations come from this meeting here today, that it be in service of the greater good. That it be in service of God's love. That we would bring more love, more light, more life into our lives, into our communities. Into all of our interactions, not only outwardly, but inwardly. And we pray that we would bear fruit of the Holy Spirit. That this meeting here today would be a nourishment and a fertilization of those virtues. Things like love, kindness, courage, patience. And we pray that through even our breath, and through the quality of our breath, that we could feel more of that love, more of that light, more of that life flowing through us. And that would continue on into our actions, into the way that we speak with others, into the way that we speak with ourselves, and in the way that we move in the world, our physiology, our psychology, and even for that light to radiate into our own mythology, into the stories that we tell ourselves, and into the stories that we create moment by moment in our life. And that story which we would create would be in service of God's will, God's love. And still continuing with that coherent breathing. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And before we begin this next round, I'll go back to that first passage that I shared with you from David White's Consolations. Courage is the measure of our heartfelt participation with life, with another, with a community, a work, a future. To be courageous is not necessarily to go anywhere or do anything, except to make conscious those things we already feel deeply, and then to live through the unending vulnerabilities of those consequences. And so, just bring to mind right now any situation in your life that is calling for you to be more courageous. You know, is it a new project that you're starting? Is it a conversation that you need to have with someone in your life? Is it a conversation that you need to have with yourself? Is it having the courage to feel something that you haven't felt in a long time? Which could even be something as simple as joy. Or it could be even grief. Or it could be a sense of awe. Whatever it is, bring to mind, bring to heart what courage is calling you forward into. Because I think we all inherently know on some level that step of what it is that we need to bring more courage to in our life. And if you can't think of an exact moment or a certain thing that's calling you to be more courageous, then the best place to start is the willingness, an energy of willingness, and not necessarily an energy of willfulness, of our own will trying to plow on through whatever it is, but a sense of willingness, desire to show up, open arms of being willing to feel what it is that we need to step into, or what we need to bring to fruition. Because I believe you are all powerful creators. And I know when you're fully connected with your heart and you're feeling that coherence with your mind as well, we can create some beautiful and powerful things, and just feel into the willingness of showing up for yourself, showing up for what life is calling you into. And just holding that in your heart, we're going to start with the second round of breathing. So again, that's fully in through the nose, about 100%, and then just letting the breath fall out. And we're going to do that for 30 breaths. And then we're going to do an inhale retention. Elaine says, I will. Thank you, Elaine. Yes, I'm definitely working on getting a better sound system here. And I appreciate that feedback as well. Awesome. So we're going to get started on the second round here. 30 breaths fully in through the nose, and then just letting the breath fall out. And then inhale retention, and then coherent breathing. So here we go for the second round. In 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. Now fully in and fully out. And now fully in and inhale retention. And releasing the breath. And finding your breath through the coherent breathing. Breathing in for 5 seconds and exhaling for 5 seconds. In through the nose and out through the nose. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continuing on that pattern. And bringing to heart, bringing to mind that situation or that project, whatever it is that life is calling for you to exercise that courage. And seeing yourself in your mind's eye, just taking a nice deep breath in, and going forth and continuing with that courage, whether it's having that conversation, starting that project, seeing yourself in your mind's eye, going forth and exercising that courage. Noticing what it feels like in your body. Just simply noticing any sensations right now. Not putting any labels or judgments on them. Just noticing. Replacing judgment with curiosity. Seeing yourself exercise that courage. What does that feel like in your body? What does it feel like to be courageous in your body? Does your posture change? Do you maybe feel like your spine is a little bit more erect? Do you feel like you have more energy in your body? And after looking into your mind's eye of seeing yourself exercising that courage, what does it look like now in your mind's eye looking back after seeing yourself already accomplish that thing that life was calling you forward? And whatever sensations that you felt, whether it was a release of tension in your body, or you felt more energized in different parts of your body, whatever it was, just bring attention and awareness to it for this upcoming week and see what it feels like when you exercise that muscle of courage. And know that you can tap into it at any time. And, for me, a big reflection for this week has been learning to hear the voice of God a lot more often. And, one of the things that I really brought to mind is I was reading my Bible there. I saw the one verse talking about how God has not given us a spirit of fear. And, he's given us a spirit of power and has made us more than conquerors. So, as you're continuing on this week, move boldly with that courage and know, like, I'm trying to remember one of the comments who said that, Elaine, when you said, that you're being guided by hope, faith, and support, and the support system standing behind you, that support system extends out into God and those unseen forces as well. So yeah, move boldly this week and take that courage on those next steps. I know, for me, it's definitely something that I always keep in heart, especially this week, as I've been really tuning in, especially after last week's reflection where we talked about, whenever there's an intention, there often is sometimes a counter intention underneath the surface, and learning to hear that intention and path forward, and tuning into God's voice definitely requires some discernment sometimes. And for me, that discernment has been between listening deeper into God's voice, of hearing and experiencing the fruits of God's voice as well, where if I'm listening to a certain thought, for example, that's giving me anxiety or making me really flustered, um, I just remind myself God did not give me a spirit of fear, and to tune in deeper to that silent voice that God uses sometimes. So, and I love that, Elaine. Yes, you have faith that He has guided you throughout all life. Amen. And Sherry, yeah, my favorite Bible verse is I'm trying to remember the exact verse, but it's in Isaiah, and it talks about I'll have to pull it up here because I should have it memorized, but I've had kind of a migraine today. I'm having trouble remembering, but it's in Isaiah, and it is Isaiah 40:31 is the one. Yes. Um, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And yeah, I love that one so much because, anytime that I've been feeling like I'm low on strength or like I need some kind of inspiration in my life, I often go to the river. And when I'm there, I'll often just sit in silence. And it's in those moments of prayer and meditation that I'll often see the eagles flying up above me by the river. And it's just a reminder for me, that verse, to continue to trust in God. So, and share, yeah, yours is mine. Psalm 23. I love, let's see, Psalm 23. I love all the Psalms. I have a book of Psalms in my vehicle that I keep there all the time. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Yes. Yeah, I love that. He restores my soul and He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. I love that. Yeah, if any of you guys have here your favorite Bible verse, definitely let me know below as well. I love hearing that. And yeah, for next week, I'd love to share more of that book from John Eldridge, who brings forth a lot of that like wildness and that masculine essence. So I would love to integrate that. But I told you guys that I would share with you an exercise, and I know a lot of you are creatives. So when it comes to courage and going forth in our projects, um, I have this book that is called The Agile Mind, and it's how your brain makes creativity happen by Stanislaw Bakra. You can read it there because I don't think I pronounced that right. But the exercise that you guys can do, as especially if you're in the energy of courage and going forth in some of your projects. This one's really for anyone that has any kind of creative projects or has a situation in their life that they can see themselves moving forward in as well. It's called the Disney method. And so the Disney method is where you imagine a situation or a project or a creative challenge, and you're imagining it from three different perspectives or three different angles. So I'll post this in the chat after on the post, but you can see here the Disney method. It's one thing that I love to do, and build up the muscle in my brain, where if I'm having, a conversation with someone about a creative project or I'm moving forward in a creative project, yeah, it really helps my mind to bring in all these different angles and perspectives. So what it is um, coming at from whatever challenge it is. So if you're confronted with a creative challenge, you look at it from three different angles, and you assume three different roles that are connected to this challenge. So um, the first perspective that you would bring into your creative challenge um, is from the perspective of the dreamer. So for an example here that they have in the book, the example is I'm the manager of a group, and my creative challenge is I want my staff to come to my office more frequently so that I can see how they are feeling and how they are working. And so the perspective of the dreamer is where you let your imagination run free without worrying about how to implement any ideas that might arise. So, in this example, the dreamer is we should install floating chairs in all the corridors so that the staff can sit on them and they will instantly come to my office. So, from the perspective of a dreamer, whatever your creative project is, think about it in terms of unlimited imagination, where anything is possible. You don't have any budget whatsoever. You have unlimited resources. So that's the first angle that you can look at with your creative project. And then the second one is the realist, where you bring your fantasies down to earth by attempting to see how you might put into practice what your imagination has created. So again, in this situation of the manager of the group that wants his staff to come to his office more frequently, the realist perspective is floating chairs haven't been invented yet, but what if we got some comfortable chairs for my office? They might come in more often. So far we have the perspective of the dreamer, and then we have the perspective of the realist, and the third perspective is that of the spoiler. So the spoiler is where you're playing the role of posing questions and you look for the weak points in the idea. So the spoiler in this situation, again, of the manager that's looking for his staff to come to his office more frequently, you'd say, how much are these new chairs going to cost? What if all the employees decide they want the same chairs in their offices? And what if they become so relaxed they stop listening to me? And so on. So you pick out some of the weak points. But at the end of it all, you look at your creative challenge, and eventually a solution begins to emerge in how you can go forward in that. So that's called the Disney method, and you're bringing in the perspective of the dreamer, the realist, and the spoiler. And so, it's an exercise that I love to do and understand as well when I'm in a situation of all the different roles that I can play when I'm starting a creative project. And it's amazing what begins to emerge in my mind as I, go forth in certain projects and being able to bring in new perspectives. So if you're curious about it, here's the book, The Agile Mind. And it has some great resources in terms of how you can exercise your mind for more creativity. So I'll post that in the group. But even with something like this creative method, I like to integrate what we were just talking about, which is another perspective. And that's, the perspective of living a God-led life, and listening to God's will for my life as well, and tuning into prayer more often and listening to the answers that way and the solutions that way as well. And, thank you guys for sharing some of your favorite Bible verses as well. Um, just like you said, Sherry, the the other Bible verse about I can do all things through God. So, and Mary says her favorite Bible verse is Psalm 46:10. Um, I love that. Yeah, guys, continue to, share your favorite Bible verses in the chat here. Um, Love to hear those all the time. Um, Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth. I love that, Mary. And I'm just looking here at my phone, you guys, and my phone is at about 1%. So I am going to sign off for the night. I can definitely use a little bit of relaxation time. Been feeling some kind of migraine here today. So I need some rest. But I also need to spend some time in reflection and yeah, maybe taking a little walk here this evening. So, wanted to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I'll post some of the resources that I talked about in the chat here today. Um, Once I'm done posting this, but I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. And you know, I continuously welcome any feedback. I'm definitely working on again getting an awesome camera, improving the quality there, and getting some kind of system. It's very different from working with Graham, helping him behind the scenes and seeing how amazing he can create an atmosphere like that. And it's definitely something to aspire to. So, but I'm grateful for everyone here and for the chance to hang out with y'all tonight. So, all the blessings to everyone this week, and may it be a week filled with a lot of courageous action, even if it's only for that 10 seconds of courage. So, all the blessings to you all tonight, and I will catch you guys next week there. Blessings. See you guys.